Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, and welcome back to my channel Ups and Downs of Life. This video I supposed to record it last week, but I didn't because I wanted to make sure that these information are real. I wanted to make sure that I go through many different pages, different websites, different channels to make sure that what I think is right. Now, after all this search, I realized that there is racism in the media, and the racism is not only between individuals, it's racism also between countries. Now, and I will give you some examples, and you will see clear there is racism going on in our world. Let's take first thing, the refugees. Now, we know that in the Middle East, for the past 7 years or 10 years, there is so many conflicts, there is so many wars, there is so many refugees from Syria to Yemen to Libya to Iraq. All these countries has refugees, right? Yes. Did these refugees have the coverage they're supposed to get? No, they didn't. Why? I'll answer this question at the end of this video. Let's take the refugees from Ukraine. You know, after the war, and only for the first 3 days, almost, the European countries everywhere around the world talking about them. That's not the issue. I am with the refugees, and I am with stopping the war against Ukrainians. That's not my problem. My problem when you see clear differentiation between the refugees simply because their skin. That is my problem. And I will show you some videos and you can see the clear. They talking about their skin. They are clear talking about this European. They don't talk about as if they are just refugees and they need to save them as the rest of the refugees around the world. No. They're talking about we have to save them because they are Europeans, because they are white, and because they have blue and green eyes. That's the only reason they want to save them. They don't want to save them because they are humans. They don't want to save them because they are, refugees. No. Let's see this video and then we continue.
Which is absolutely disgusting, if that is the case. And let's not forget as well, and I do say this, and I think it's absolutely right that we feel for the people in Ukraine because it feels closer to home that's in Europe. But between the Belarus and Polish border right now, there are still Afghan and Syrian refugees who are stuck. They're trapped there. Poland won't let them in. Poland are building a wall, and Belarus won't let them back in. There are children there dying of hypothermia, and we do know that there are wars happening all around this world. And let's just hope one thing that comes out of this, we realise how much this feels to us because it's close to home, that now we start feeling that empathy for people in Yemen, in Syria, in Palestine, across the whole world, because now we feel what it's like to be on the edge of a war.
Refugees, and they closed the door in their faces, asking them to go back to their countries and open up for refugees from Ukraine simply because they are white. Let's see this video and then we continue.
I'm sorry, it's very emotional for me because I see European people with blue eyes and blonde hair being killed, children being killed every day with Putin's missiles and his helicopters and his rockets.
And so, of course, I understand and
now the unthinkable has happened to them. And this is not a developing third world nation. This is Europe.
1,000 people were coming into Poland in just the last 24 hours. When you look at what happened in the last refugee crisis in Europe back in 2015, Poland was one of the EU countries that, was hesitant to take in refugees. Talk about what has changed and a different position now.
Yeah, well, just to put it bluntly, these are not refugees from Syria. These are refugees from neighboring Ukraine. I mean, that, quite frankly, is part of it. These are Christians, they're white, they're very similar.
But this isn't a place, with all due respect, like Iraq or Afghanistan, that has seen conflict raging for decades. This is a relatively civilized, relatively European, I have to choose those words carefully too, city where you wouldn't expect that or hope that it's going to happen.
That is racism. That is what I'm talking about. right? So I am with all refugees, and they have the right to be saved because they are fleeing from the war. And they have to be saved. That's not my issue. My issue, again, is when you differentiate and you act as a racist, and when you act like there is a difference between brown refugees and white-skinned refugees. And you can see clear, there is many different videos I actually saw in the media talking about, oh, this is European people and white skin, we have to save them. If we want to save the refugees, we don't save the refugees because they're white skin or because if they have blue eyes and green eyes. That shouldn't be the reason why we save refugees. We save refugees because they are humans. We save them because they need our help. It doesn't matter what color of your skin is. It doesn't matter what color of your eyes is. What matters is you're human. You have the right to be saved. It's disgusting when you see actual newsletters and news channels talking about it. It's as if it's something, it's okay. That is racism against brown skin. And it's very clear, and they don't even feel shy about it. And finally, I want you to watch Mahdi Hussein and what he said about this matter.
Some of the media coverage of the conflict in Ukraine has been kind of off. We have reporters and pundits making some rather awful remarks about the nature of this conflict and these refugees versus, say, conflicts and refugees in the Middle East. Ayman, first off, Europe has been home to some of the worst wars and worst war crimes in human history. I mean, the Holocaust. So why this surprise that bad things are happening in Europe? And second, when they say, oh, civilized cities, and in another clip, well-dressed people, and this is not the third world, they really mean white people, don't they? The reason they seem to want us to care more about Ukraine, and we should care about Ukraine, but not because they're white Europeans. That shouldn't be the reason we care about Ukraine.
Yeah, no, that's what's so disturbing in all of this. And in fact, not only that, it's trying to make an excuse why the West should get involved and embrace these refugees and help them. Listen, let's be clear. You should encourage and actually help refugees because they are fleeing a war. I don't know if you saw this. There was a op-ed today in the Telegraph. I think we have it. We'll put it up for our viewers to see. This was an op-ed in which the writer, Daniel Hannon, said that these people, the Ukrainians, they're like us. They watch Netflix. They have Instagram accounts. They read uncensored newspaper, and then goes on to say that war is no longer something visited upon impoverished and remote population. Oh, no, it's happening to us here in Europe. And to your point, you're absolutely correct. Europe has had some of the worst human rights abuses and atrocities and wars in not just modern history, in all of history. Good to see you, Mahdi. Greatly appreciate it, my friend.
And that's what makes me upset. You know, I am with refugees, 100%. We have to be with peace. We have to be against wars. Everywhere. In Europe, in Middle East, or any other country around the world. We're supposed to be against any war. And we have to help all refugees the same. Because all of them are humans, have feelings, have families, have kids, and they want to be saved. All of them the same. All of them going through the same struggles. All of them have the same feelings. So why do we differentiate between them? I do remember when we were trying to send a message to the media here in the UK about Yemeni refugees, about people dying in the sea, about human rights, the asylum seekers. I know a lot of Yemenis has been sent back to different countries because here they didn't accept the asylum seekers applications. And it was in the media, but they didn't have the same coverage as the Ukrainians, refugees, and asylum seekers. I hope you enjoyed this video. Follow me and subscribe for more videos like this. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.